What's going on, everybody? It's your boy K Wilson. Welcome back to the Entrepreneur Life Show. This show, again, talking about what it takes to be an entrepreneur, the things you go through, things you come across, the ups and downs, everything in between of entrepreneurship. This is now, I guess we're calling this season 2. So if you watched any episodes of season 1, if you still around, still supporting us, thanks again. This time around, really want to go in a little bit deeper. And I was watching some of the videos from last season, and I really felt like, we kind of scratched the surface a little bit. We really started, I guess, building the foundation is what I call it. But this time I want to go deeper. I want to really go into what it takes, the work, the effort, and really want to stress that entrepreneurship is not easy. But if done correctly, and if you do it and you last and you just keep at it, it can be beneficial. You can achieve your goals and your dreams of being a business owner, being an entrepreneur. And so we're gonna try to really tackle that head on this time around. And again, your feedback, if you guys want to know more, if you guys want to hear more, if you have topics you want me to discuss, or even if you want to help discuss it, let us know. So I'll you'll be able to find us. I'll provide all the contact information below, and we'll work that out. But to get started, to get going with this season, as I was trying to figure out, okay, what do I want to talk about now? What do I want to discuss this time? It kind of came to me over the summer. And things just kept happening as I was around other entrepreneurs. I was around other businesses and all types of businesses, large businesses, small businesses. But I got to really experience, there was something that kept coming to me. And it would continually happen. And it's been on my mind ever since, like I said, this summer. And it's one of the things that really gets under my skin and irks me when it comes to entrepreneurs and business owners, how we operate. And I think it's the one thing that we struggle with. And that is how we represent our business and how other people represent our businesses. And to me, that is a huge thing. I know from a personal standpoint, it's tough. You're out there, and again, it's almost a 24/7 thing, where you're trying to not only be a business owner, you're trying to operate, you're trying to advertise, you're trying to reach people, you're coming across people, you don't even know who's a potential client, customer, buyer, resource, whatever. And you're trying to always put your best foot forward. But sometimes it doesn't happen. Sometimes we let our guard down, or sometimes we entrust the people around us to do it, and they don't do a very good job of it. And so I guess a couple stories that really, like I said, this thing kind of got kicked off a while back, some months ago. I walked into a small shop. I guess, whatever you want to call it. Some people up north call them like bodegas, markets, whatever. Small shop, you could tell kind of mom and pop shop, small business owner, but they had a person there who was working there, and I could tell, I've been in there a couple times, I could tell it wasn't the family. I know the family, and I guess they'd hired someone to work the register and work the counter. And so again, I've been in there before. I know the people, I know how they operate. And so I go in this time, not paying attention, and see someone, and the first thing I notice is that this person's on the phone. And that's one of the things, again, that really gets under my skin when we're talking about customer service. And if you see someone walk into the store, the first thing you probably want to do, even if you were on the phone, even if it's acceptable, whatever the case is, you probably want to get off the phone when someone walks in and they're about to buy something, or they may want to communicate with you, whatever the case is, get off the phone. Okay, it's a bad look. People are confused. They don't know if you're talking to them, on the phone, whatever. And then also, too, no one wants to hear your conversation. Okay? I don't care what your conversation's about. And most of the time I come across people in a situation, the conversation's not good. I don't want to hear about your family, your messed up relationship, your day and all the struggles and your ups and downs. Like, people don't want to hear that. They're coming to the shop. They want something. You have to represent your business. None of that stuff represents what you're doing at that moment, who you're working for, who you're representing. So that's the first thing. I go talk to her, and as I'm trying to have a conversation, again, she's still trying to have a conversation with the person on the phone. And so again, I'm confused. I don't know if you're talking to me or her. And so, I said, well, excuse me. And she got an attitude. She got upset because I was interrupting her conversation apparently with the person on the phone. And I didn't like that. I was like, you know what? Never mind. I'll leave. I left. At that point, I didn't feel comfortable. And again, a lot of times when people come somewhere to buy something, or they come somewhere to do business with an establishment, sometimes it's from some type of connection. Either it's they've been there before, they like the service, there's a relationship there with somebody they know, ownership, whatever. But sometimes small mom and pop joints, there's a reason people keep coming back to them. And maybe they have something they really want. Maybe it's exclusive to that place, whatever the case is. But a lot of times, again, you got to think about a market where there's so many other places to go. One thing about entrepreneurship is that we have to understand too that you're probably not the only one doing what you do. You're probably not the only store market. If you are, that's great and you got it. Great. I love that. But you may not be. For example, this market I went into, I could have easily gone to a 7-Eleven, any place like that, and gotten the same thing. And maybe even for a little cheaper, to be quite honest. But I went there because, one, it's close to my house, it's convenient. Again, like I said, I know the people that work there. I anticipate I have conversations with them. We talk. So a lot of times I go there checking up on everyone. How's everyone doing? How's your fam? What's going on? They ask me the same. And so there's a bond, there's connection there. And so I was really put off by this. It bothered me because, again, I know the business owners, they entrusted someone to represent their business. And I know that's not the presentation they want, the customer service they want to present. People, like I said, I know these people almost 20 years. They put a lot into this shop. They put their all into it. They've worked it. I've seen them work long hours. And so to trust in someone else, it's a big deal. It's a really big deal. And so to have someone who doesn't understand that, and like if I said this before and I've said this in previous shows, is that I know as entrepreneurs, no one is going to have the same passion for your business as you do. They're just not. This is your baby. This is your creation. Other people, they may like what you're doing. They may buy in. They may have, be on board and excited about it, but they're never going to be as passionate as you are. And so trusting someone else to do that is a big thing. And like I said, it's almost like someone watching your children, like watching your baby. People take that very serious. And so for these things to happen, it's upsetting, it's frustrating, it's hurtful. So we have to do a good job of that. So as we trust people, make sure that they're going to be a good representation. Feedback is always a good thing too. One thing I did when I did saw the owners of the shop later, I had to tell them, and that's not being a snitch or anything, but again, I understand what they're trying to do. I understand being an entrepreneur is hard, and also they lost business because of it. I didn't buy what I was going to that day because of the poor customer service, the poor interaction I had with the employee, and I wanted to let them know, like, hey, might want to check that out. Like, if it's me, if I'm willing to walk out, how many other people are walking out too? How many other people are upset? How many other people may write a bad review? There's a lot of places to do reviews now, especially online. People look at that stuff. When you're buying a product, when you're doing something, people actually do read reviews. And so, like, you don't know who else is giving them a bad review because of if they have poor interactions with this person. And so I wanted to let them know, and they were very thankful, very, grateful, they appreciated it because they didn't know. And so sometimes, just putting the best foot forward. And so that was one situation that happened to me. And I can count others, but I just wanted to show that example of how easy, someone can be turned off by something so simple. And so one of those things, again, like I said, and even some tips, again, if you're working for someone, my advice is always, even if it's not your business, if you're an employee, you're working for someone else, make that the priority at that point. You are getting paid to be there. And even if you're not, even if you're volunteering, you're still trading your time to be there. So make the most of that time. I know sometimes it sucks. Sometimes employees, it might not be the job you want, but at least put your best foot forward, represent, because you never know too. Like, this is also your work ethic. how you present it. You're also on display too for maybe the job that you want. This may also be practice. You may also be building your skill set for the job that you want later on. So if you're not putting your best foot forward, you're not building yourself. So that's one thing. Like I say, even if you're volunteering, that is your time. Whatever you're volunteering, why you're volunteering, either if it's for, a lot of times kids, students, learning hours. Again, that's developing a skill set. You're building yourself. You're investing in yourself. If it's volunteer work for an organization, again, if you're taking the time to volunteer for somebody, you might as well do the best you can to represent. Because you can volunteer anywhere. So if it's a cause, if it's an organization that's near and dear to your heart, the last thing you want to do is damage them by giving out poor customer service or not presenting well. So, that's one thing to consider. Another thing, like I said, I give out tips. So present well, meaning, again, effective communication. If you have to communicate with a customer, a client, or someone, make sure you're effectively communicating. Make sure you have at least an understanding of what you're supposed to be communicating, where things are, how to do things. And if you don't, it's okay to say, you know what, I don't know right now, but let me get to someone who can. That's okay sometimes. But make it your job. If it's your job to know, then make it your job to know. Also, too, like I said, get off phones, texting, communicating. That's a horrible thing. I went to a toll booth, and the person at the toll booth was texting, and it took them like a couple of seconds to even realize I was there. Like, this stuff is outrageous. You can communicate. You can find time to communicate on your own time. But remember, like, you are representing someone. So, again, also, too, appearance. Appearance can be a big thing. It may not be a fair thing, but people do judge based on appearance. Do I? Yeah, I do it too. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sit here in front like I don't do it and I don't judge. We all do. Okay? Especially when it comes to, again, you're working for someone, or you're representing someone's business, representing someone's venture. The last thing you want is to misrepresent them by not looking the part or not looking up to the part. Again, this is a huge thing for business. I've also seen this with entrepreneurs themselves. And if they're representing their own business, you have to look the part. I'm not saying that it has to be suit and tie all the time. If you need to do that, then do that. But also, just on the little things, hygiene is important. Make sure your hygiene is up to par. No one wants to do business with someone who smells or carries an odor. Especially if you're going to be in someone's face talking and communicating, you got bad breath. Those things, people remember that stuff. They may not remember what's going on, but they remember the dude with the stinky breath. So keep that in mind as well. Your clothes, your appearance. Make sure your clothes, they fit properly. Make sure they're clean. Make sure, they're not all wrinkled. I hate to say, but I have to say this in 2019, but I still have to say this in 2019. Like, make sure your appearance is up to par. If you have to wear a uniform, make sure your uniform is, worn properly. If it has to be tucked in, if it's worn a certain way, make sure those things are okay. Make sure it's clean. Again, cleanliness is a big thing. Your hair is another important thing. Don't be ashy, stuff like that. People notice those little things. And it also says a lot about you, how much you care about what you're doing, if you care about yourself. There are some people that don't care about fashion and all that. That's fine. You don't have to care about fashion, but you should care about your appearance. Those are two different things. Okay, so take pride in what you're doing and what you're wearing. Another note, again, too, as you're representing your business, also make sure that you can effectively articulate what your business is. This is another big part of, being an entrepreneur. Knowing what you're trying to do and know who you're talking about, but also be able to discuss it. Sell it if you have to. Again, a lot of times if you're an entrepreneur, like most entrepreneurs work for themselves, it's just them. They're trying to build it. They're trying to grow it. You are your biggest advocate. You are your biggest advertising tool. You are the biggest mouthpiece for your venture. And so if someone asks you what you're doing, you should be able to tell them what it is you are doing. But again, I've come across a lot of people who cannot do that. That doesn't make me want to do business with you. That doesn't make people want to do what, partake in whatever it is you're doing. It turns people off. It makes you look like you don't know what you're doing, or you're trying to scam them. I came across a guy one time sitting at a cookout again this summer, having conversations. And again, my friends, they bring people over. They know who are entrepreneurs and who own businesses. And so one of my friends brought somebody over and said, hey, this guy, he has a nonprofit. He wants to work with kids. I'm like, cool. You know, what it is you do? And I asked him, I said, what do you do? Like, what specifically you do? And outrageously, he couldn't tell me. He said, I'm just trying to work with kids. Okay, how? Do you want to mentor them? Do you want to educate them after school? Like, what are you trying to do with young people? They're like, I'm just trying to work with kids and help them out. Okay, but you formed a nonprofit. So then I had to go back and ask, like, did you already form a nonprofit? Have you filed paperwork, gone through bylaw? Do you have a board? Like, have you started that process yet? Because at some point, you have to be able to tell people and articulate what it is you're trying to do. So if we're in the beginning stages, you know, why can't you tell me? If you can go through that process, you should be able to at least tell me. And if you have to practice. Stand in the mirror. Take note cards. You know, I'm not gonna lie. When I first started, I remember people asked me, and I probably had like 3 or 4 different like things, rhetoric that I would say, and so almost come across like different things, different people. It's the same message, but you know, I had to write down if I think this person is going to be a client, this is what I want to tell them I do. If I think this person may know somebody, you know, so like, but I was able to articulate it, and I took notes, and I would practice, and I would write, you know, note cards, you know, this is what I want to say, this is what I want to say, and I want to be able to communicate that. And also people have follow-up questions, I had answers for them. So you have to be able to tell people what you do. And again, if you're not the business owner, if you're working for somebody or you're volunteering, figure it out, you know, what it is you should be telling people. Even if you have to ask, hey, if this person comes in, if we have a customer or client, what should I be saying? What should I be telling them? Because I want to make sure I'm representing. That's another big thing. Oh, man. Another thing, too, is we have to be careful about our image, our footprint in the digital world, mainly social media. Okay? And so, again, as times are changing and people are more moving to more digital forms of like advertising, communication, also know that people are looking you up. People they're going on people's social media pages. They're checking out their social media pages. So not only are they going through the business pages, but also people may check you out, especially if they're linked, especially if people know who you are. And they may check out your personal stuff too. Also, depending on the industry you're in, you know, like for me, for example, and I'll be honest, like as a consultant, again, I put myself out there. I put my work out there. I share. I do a lot of stuff online, the show, podcasts, all types of stuff. But also I know that because that's out there, people need to see me as a credible source. People need to know that I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm doing. And so in doing that, everything in my life has to line up at this point. And that's one thing I realized. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs haven't gotten there. Especially, I find that with a lot of young entrepreneurs, like everything has to line up. I can't, you know, so as people are looking for you, people are searching for you, like I said, me online, I can't seem as reputable and credible. And, you know, I got crazy looking pictures and stuff online. Even if the stuff may be harmless, you know, again, perception is a big thing. And again, perception is a big thing with whatever you're trying to do as a business owner. No one would do business with me if they thought I was a drunk or alcoholic, or if I was a druggie. I'll be honest, I don't think they would. So that's not what I want to portray in my image. You know, I don't want people to think that of me. So I make sure what I post on social media, also put that out there too. And also not the wild crazy stuff too, but you have to be careful with some things you say nowadays. I mean, there's a lot of people that are getting bashed and slammed, and businesses are being crumbled for some of the views they have. And so again, you want to make the decision, is this something I want to put out there? So always ask yourself, you know, if I'm putting out there, is this something that I want to portray? Is this something that I want my customers, my clients, my potential customers or client, anybody who's going to do business with me, is this something that I want them to know? Is this something I want them to see? And if the case is yes, then okay. If not, then you may want to consider putting that up there. So lots of things in that nature. We have to start being careful how we represent. Okay, so again, and I'm pretty sure I'm probably forgetting some stuff I had. Like I said, I had a crazy summer, stuff going on all over the place. Coming across a lot of people, and I'm not putting nobody out there, but I just saw a lot. So those things, keep in mind that again, I try to keep these things short. If you want to, again, check us out on YouTube, show us on YouTube. Also check out, I have the link also on our website, Zyban Enterprises. Check that out if you can't get to it. Share, like, comment. If you want to hit us up. The email, zybanenterprises@gmail.com. Let us know what you think. Comments, all feedback is appreciated. Until the next time, y'all, peace.